Hey, what's up, guys? What's up? Welcome back. Dr. Jaws here, and tonight we are covering the whitetail dogfish, Scymnodalatias albicauda. This is an exciting species to cover because I think it's our first Scymnodalatias. So this is a cousin of the Greenland shark. It is a kind of sleeper shark, but it's a genus that we've never seen before, and it's a really rare kind of group. So I'm very excited to check it out. Hey Howard, welcome back. Good evening to you too. Hope you had a really good weekend. What do we do this weekend? The days are blurring together. It is American Thanksgiving week this week, which I'm really excited about. Things are usually pretty chill, and I'm excited to kind of I already started baking and cooking for my family because we're going to be visiting my family and my fiance's family this week. So very excited to kind of unwind. Things are slowing down pace-wise, which is good, but hope you had a good weekend. Yeah. Also, by the way, Howard, this looks great. I really love this whitetail dogfish drawing, especially since when you submitted it, I replied to your email. This might be one of the very few pieces of art depicting the whitetail dogfish ever, and especially recreational art. Because there's a few scientific illustrations of the species, but recreationally, this might be one of the few images in the world. And I know that sounds a little strange, but that actually might be true. Where I don't know how many people do art on such a rare genus of sharks. So this is a really cool submission. So thank you so much for sharing this. I love how you captured the eyes, as far as that it has that classic deep water shark kind of horizontally elongated eye with that beautiful iridescent green pupil. It looks super cool, and the spotted pattern is spot on as far as this looks very similar to what the actual whitetail dogfish pattern is, as well as the tail especially. So I think you nailed the black tips on the upper and lower caudal fin with the white spot at the base of the upper part of the caudal fin. So it looks really, really cool. And also, I could see even the teeth here, too. This shark has a particularly nasty set of teeth, very long pig-like teeth. So I'm excited to learn more about its diet. And finally, I love the addition of the long-nosed chimera cruising in the shadows. I kind of really like how you can see the forefront of the shark more so than the back, and it kind of is it's kind of coming out of the distance of the cold, murky water, which it calls its home. So I think this is really cool. So thank you so much for the submission. This really looks fantastic, and I'm excited to learn more about this species. So, oh, and let me catch up on comments. Sorry. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Color looks funny, purplish on my screen. Yeah, so whenever I get art, I do try to edit it and just kind of bring the colors out and bring the contrast out for display. So I might have brought out too much purple, and I apologize for that if I did that. But I do try to kind of heighten the contrast just for display purposes on the stream. So, so yeah, if it's coming, it is kind of coming out on purple on my end as well a little bit, but. So sorry if I kind of, it's more gray in person. Okay, so sorry about that. Yeah, so overall it still looks really good. And the actual whitetail dogfish, I do have an illustration of it. In life, you're right, it is more kind of a beige gray color. So we could take a look at that. So that's my bad as far as when I was drawing out the colors, I think I made it a little bit. I drew out a little bit too much of the warm colors, creating that purpley effect. So sorry about that. But overall, it's still a really, really great piece of art. So yeah, this is a really cool submission. So thank you. But yeah, so this is the whitetail dogfish, also known as, I like these names, the Bruja cola blanca or the Squale Grugnure. I can't even do French. Why am I even trying? Squale Grugnure. I'm not gonna try that. Sorry. I apologize to the French because I'm gonna ruin that. Ojirozame. I could say Japanese words, but Ojirozame is a really cool word. But this is the whitetail dogfish, where we have just like in your piece of art, Howard, the eyes are horizontally elongated. We have the slender pointed tips of pectoral fins. Again, the tail fin color that you got was perfect because you can see the upper and lower parts of the caudal fin. Really, the caudal fin margin is black, but the base of the upper caudal fin is white, hence the name. So it's kind of a really cool pattern. It's not as uniform as the rest of the body. I also like how this shark has this funny fading effect where the head is a lot darker looking, and then as you get further down along the body, yes, I agree. It has a peculiar patternation. Like as you get further down the body, it gets paler and paler. So it's very unique in the shark world. And I also really like that, this is a cold water shark. This is a shark that I don't think it lives in Antarctica, but it's close as far as it lives in the Southern Ocean. So it's kind of cool that it has this almost like snowy look to it. So I just think it's really cool. And we'll get more into where it lives in general. But yeah. Also tonight we're going to take a look at some more ecoregions, and we'll take a look at other sharks that occupy similar habitat as far as like deep sea shark species, so I'm pretty excited to review all of that as well. It looks like it says size, moderate sized shark that reaches 111 centimeters total length. So compared to a human it's a bit smaller, but the look is so unique. It's kind of funny. It looks like it is a sleeper shark. You could definitely get some of the features that you have in like the Greenland Sleeper Shark and Pacific Sleeper Shark, where you have kind of like the fins far back on the body, kind of more like a cylindrical torpedo shape. But I feel like this particular shark has a larger caudal fin, kind of more prominent pectoral fins, and overall has a more like active, sporty look than other sleeper sharks. I think proportionally the eyes are a bit larger relative to the head, and maybe even the mouth potentially. So I did pull up some sleeper shark footage for comparison, just to kind of get an idea of how this shark might move. Unfortunately, we do not have footage of the whitetail dogfish. It's a very rare species, but we do have footage of its cousins, so I think we'll take a look at that later. But you can see the teeth are pretty nasty. You have the upper teeth with these like really nice, like, the creepy, like, pointed, I shouldn't say, it's not sickle shape, I don't know why I'm saying that, it's, I'm trying to find the right word for it, because it's not like a fish hook, because it's not, like, recurving or anything, it's just, like, a straight spear-like tooth, but just really gnarly looking with all, like, the gentle curving, so it's pretty creepy upper tooth. And then the lower teeth looks like they are kind of like other kinds of dogfish, where they look like they're going to lock together and lock into like this nasty blade. So you can see the cusplets that are kind of more squared off at the base, and then like the main cusplet in the center, which has a little bit of a curve to it too. So it's a very unique dentition. I'm curious to see what this species eats. So here's a pretty damaged one. Hold up from the depths, so kind of a creepy coloration here, where you get kind of like the dark face and then the light caudal fin base, or light base of the caudal fin. But this specimen looks pretty damaged, so I don't know how accurate some of this might be. And here we go. The species is known from only a few scattered records, including the southeastern Atlantic, southwest of South Africa. Oceanic in the epipelagic zone, where is a rare catch of tuna longlines from 0 to approximately 200 plus meters in approximately 1,400 to 4,000 meters deep, also off a submarine ridge at 512 meters near the bottom. So this is a shark that lives in both the epipelagic zone, or the sunlit zone, and the twilight zone. And again, very rare species. It may be mesopelagic or bathypelagic, as suggested by its dark body coloration, and could rise to near the surface at night, but this is speculative. So, like we've seen with a lot of sharks on the stream, a lot of them do diel migrations, or diel vertical migrations. So at night, deepwater sharks will come up to the surface to follow their favorite prey items, whether that's like squid, or lanternfish is a big one. Actually, lanternfish is the biggest prey item that comes up to the surface at night. So this shark could do that, but there isn't really conclusive evidence that it does that. So, and then similar species, Scymnodalatias antarcticus. I'm not sure. Oh, the southern sleeper shark. Okay, it's kind of cool to compare. So this is in the same family, but completely different genus, Scymnodalatias. So this is the classic sleeper shark genus, also known as blimp shark. I love that. So. I do want to spend some time on this. This is kind of cool to see. If this is accurate, the coloration pattern is a lot paler than the Greenland shark, and it looks like the face is a lot more snub, like a lot stouter, like a little bit more compressed than Greenland sharks. So pretty interesting to compare. The body is a lot heavier, and overall the animal is much larger. Actually, look at this. If you see this chart right here, comparing to a human, you can see how Scymnodalatias gets to be just titanic. So that's an incredible length. That's larger than a lot of predatory shallow water sharks. That's larger than the maximum size for a bull shark. Actually, let's check out what the southern sleeper shark can get to. Let's see. I always have to do this. Centimeters to feet. So 456, 15 feet minimum. That's a big animal, to 20 feet maximum. So that's basically the size. That's the range of a great white, which is pretty wild. So yeah, sleeper sharks are get to be pretty gigantic. Hey Mingus, welcome back. Oh my gosh, lots of comments. Let me catch up. Impaling teeth. Yes, yes. The blimp shark, yeah. Good thing is that they're found off New Zealand, Australia, where there are a lot of deep sea explorations. Yes! Oh my gosh, that's a good point. That would be really cool if this was captured in like something like, what do you call it? Okeanos, which does really cool explorations. We've seen a few on YouTube. So speaking of that, let's check out some sleeper shark footage. So this is not the same genus, but it is the same family. Some of this is familiar footage, some of this is new. But it's always fun to watch sharks doing their thing. So this is a kind of sleeper shark, 3,300 feet deep, so this is in the midnight zone. And it's kind of amazing to think that this is such a cold, dark, deep environment, yet this particular individual is a little bit active in relation to the camera. He's moving quite quickly. It looks like it's a massive shark. I saw your comment, Mingus, about like minimum is 15 feet. So yeah, these sharks are super cool. They're the giants of the deep. These guys and the six-gill sharks are just incredibly massive. And I feel like maybe pop culture is starting to understand that these are like, you know, really cool predatory sharks that live in the deep water. So like white sharks are not the only large predatory sharks in the ocean. There's some other really cool ones down in the abyss, which is it's just super cool to think about. So yeah, it's just oh, no worries, Mingus. I just saw your comment. Surface family excited to be back. Happy to watch last week's stream. Been way too busy, but excited. Oh yeah, no worries, no worries. Hope everything went well with. I think you were submitting a paper for last week, but hope that went well. Fingers crossed, everything went well. And like, oh my gosh, just like I feel you as far as you're in undergrad, right? Because I just feel you on the paper crunch for sure. I definitely was in the paper crunch. Like those were the days. I was kind of terrible actually. Oh, look at this. That was really cool shot of the dentition. So this is a Pacific sleeper shark, also in the midnight zone. But that's actually a really cool shot. Let me make that full screen. Where you can kind of see a slightly similar tooth type, a little bit like the whitetail dogfish, because the upper teeth are a little bit more peg-like, but the lower teeth are kind of more like in that interlocking blade a little bit. So let's see if we could, let me slow that down. Pretty gnarly tooth set. But yeah, I remember, oh man, look at that. One more time at slow speed. Yeah, really, you never want to be. I mean, like, the interaction between these kinds of sharks and humans is so minimum, but you know, even so, you never ever want to be caught in the mouth of this animal. So, I know in colder waters these kinds of sharks do come into shallow water, but when you're in, you know, mid latitudes, like in temperate and tropical oceans, these guys stick in the bottom. This is so cool and so freaky. Whoa! Wow, excellent footage. Oh man, you can get a really good shot. You can see the eyes rolling in the back of the head. It looks really creepy and disturbing, but it's a way to protect the eyeball. It's something completely normal for the shark to do. It's just kind of a reflex to make sure that the eyes are protected when lunging into a prey item. Great shot of the teeth right there. Incredible animal. So this is a much larger cousin of tonight's species. But I think it's cool to compare to kind of get an idea of just maybe how the shark moves, since we don't have footage of the whitetail dogfish. And this is probably the closest really living relative that we could see on YouTube. So very cool shot. Inkfish. Let me see. Am I subscribed to this? Okay, this is a channel called Deep Sea Magazine. So I'm just going to subscribe and like. That's very cool. But anyway, yeah, I was just talking about the paper crunch where... I know in undergrad, I think my routine was I would go to Wawa. I don't know. I hope you have. I don't know if Wawa is like a southern thing or if it's everywhere. I hope it's everywhere because it's awesome. But I would go to Wawa and grab like a buffalo chicken sub, a caramel macchiato, and was it pretzel M&Ms? That was like my go-to jam. And I don't know how much they helped really, because like. I would only, that was like my study cram snack or my paper cram snack, and it's just like I don't know really how effective all that was, to be honest, but it helped the spirit, you know. So yeah, buffalo chicken sandwich, caramel macchiato, which I still get at Wawa, love that, and then just pretzel M&Ms. So this is a pretty cool shot. This is new. It's a Greenland shark that has been tagged, so it's kind of cool to see how the animal moves in shallow water. I love how, you know, it's very lethargic as it's moving away from the boat, but it does right itself up. And I love that you can have a really nice shot of the ridgeline on the back, so it's just a really cool feature of these kinds of sharks. I don't think our whitetail dogfish has a ridge, but as we look at photographs and diagrams, we can maybe determine that more. So, but yeah. Very slow, powerful, slow, sluggish. I mean, you can definitely see why they're called sleeper sharks. So. I just saw this comment. It's kind of, we have cumbies instead. Not sure how far Southern Cumberland Farms reaches. I've never heard of cumbies. I love how different places have regional things like. Cumbies Pizza, really good gas station pizza before I head back to my dorm. Never heard of Wawa. No worries. I do think Wawa is regional. Yeah, no, Wawa is awesome. Like I don't think it was a thing when I was growing up. It's kind of like I mean, not to shout out 7-Eleven, but like it's kind of like a better 7-Eleven. Like not to be disrespectful to 7-Eleven, but it's just. You just got a lot more food items. It's cleaner looking. I'm really sorry. I'm being terrible to 7-Eleven. Oh god, I won't get any sponsorship deals from them. Anyway, but no, Wawa's awesome. I think it's a southern thing, maybe a mid-Atlantic thing in the U.S. I don't know how far north they go. But I love how different regions have different things. Like in the deep south, Florida, South Carolina, and stuff like. Publix is like the big grocery store. I don't really have them further north. What else? Also, sorry, not to get too distracted. Really cool footage of an underwater BRU, so beta underwater video. Where you have, I'm assuming it's like kind of halibut. Well, actually, no, I take that back. That looks like a halibut or flounder. Bait, just because like that side is really pale and there's no eye. Yeah, that is some kind of flounder or halibut, because that side's really pale and there's no eyes. There is a cod. This is a cod or cod-like relative. You can tell by the 3 fins. That's something unique to that family. This is a flounder, or halibut. I'm not that good with flounder. There's so many different kinds of flounders. There's like whiffs, halibuts, window panes, hawk chokers. There's a couple that I can get, but flounders have nuances to them that I still don't know 100% know the differences. And then here is a sleeper shark. Definitely interested in the bait. Oh, so big. But yeah, Howard, if you don't mind me asking, what are some like gas stations and grocery stores in your area? Because so for me right now in Virginia, we have Wawa. Wawa's great. It's like Wawa, Sheetz, 7-Eleven, uh, Food Lion, Publix, Wegmans. There's actually a lot of different kinds, but I would say regionally, or actually, I guess not Publix as much. I don't think we actually really do have a Publix. I'm confusing that with Florida. I think regionally the big thing is Wawa. Another thing that's ridiculous is Bojangles, which I've never had until a month ago for the first time, and it's like a McDonald's for chicken, and it's pretty tasty actually. Oh, this is wild. So this is a diver with a mounted tag on a sleeper shark, and it's incredible to see. So I mentioned like you never want to encounter these kinds of sharks in shallow water, and I also mentioned how rare that is. But here we go. This is really cool footage of a diver right next to a kind of sleeper shark, and kind of helping to make sure that the tag is mounted correctly. So assuming this is a kind of biologist, but it's really cool to see and monitor the movements. Really cool channel, Alaska Sharks. Wow, look at that. So he's right in front of the shark, and the shark is like, I don't think of sleeper sharks as buccal pumpers, so it's a little. This one might be a little bit more concerning if it's motionless on the bottom. I don't know how natural that is. I do know that dogfish do that. Like pike dogfish do sit on the bottom and do actively pump water on the gills, and this is a distant cousin from dogfish, so it might be okay. And it seems to be fine now. Like as far as like actively swimming, it seems pretty healthy, but yeah, really cool view of just the sleeper shark doing what it's doing. And the cool thing about this kind of tag is like you can see remote like video footage, but it also more likely than not has a record of the location and the depth, so you can kind of keep track of the shark's movements as far as like where it is in the water column and where it is latitudinally. So. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I love that comment, Howard. So dangerous, so 22 feet long and 300 years old. That is so cool. Yep. Let's see. And also, Howard, Raba and 7-Eleven. So I have no idea what Raba is. I've never heard of that. So, oh my gosh. Well, actually, that kind of reminds me. So it's Thanksgiving week in the United States. Let me know regional foods. Like, what is the strangest food item or the most unique regional food item that you might have? So, yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that comment, Mingus. Imagine being able to say you got that close to a sleeper shark. Yeah, I can't imagine. Like just. Like, because that is such a rare opportunity. I know when they first caught one on video, that was Nick Kalianis in the 90s. And I think he was literally in Greenland when he caught a Greenland shark on video. But it became very interested in him and bumped his camera a couple times. It's a really cool shot, actually. But yeah, this is such a once in a lifetime opportunity to be with just this like titanic kind of shark. This one, what's wild too is like this individual is probably on the not the smaller side, but like the mid-size side. So yeah, it's just like it's incredible to say that you swam with this species. It's just super cool. So. All right. So we're gonna move on to whitetail dogfish. So once again, I do want to pull up just the image of tonight's shark. So this is what it looks like. So a lot smaller than the Greenland shark, but still a really cool looking predator. So and just up here in Maine, the craziest I can think of is Moxie soda. Oh yeah, actually yeah. Let me see if I can pull up that video. Greenland Shark 1996. Ultimate Guide. This is my favorite shark documentary. And it's really old, but I think it's awesome. Oh, is this the whole thing? Can I watch? Wait, is this the whole thing? Can I actually? Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. We won't watch the whole thing. That's incredible. It's on here. I do not endorse this. This is not a good idea, but I do want to pull up Nick Calianis' footage. This was my jam when I was a kid. Oh, is it? I think it's in the beginning. There it is. Okay. Yeah, this was just classic '90s Shark Week. This was like such a high quality documentary. I loved this documentary. And to date, this is my favorite shark documentary ever. So this is the footage I was talking about. So this is I'm assuming that's a Calianis, or it could be a partner diver because someone's filming him. So that could be a partner. And then it's hard to see on the top left corner is the Greenland shark. It's just a shadow of there it is, and you can see the tail moving. So this is the first ever footage of the species ever. Like ever, like they've never ever got this on film before. So this is the very first piece of footage on Greenland sharks, and this particular piece of film informed scientists a lot about them as far as like how they move. And then I think they actually captured the copepod on the eye, and look how close it is getting to the diver. Look at that. So this is where he was starting to get concerned because the shark, as big as it is just getting so close to him. And then you can kind of tell it's out of the corner of the eye, that parasitic copepod on the eyeball. Yeah, the shark is really interested in him, and he made the right call of backing away. But really incredible footage, like one of a kind. So it's really cool to be able to watch this with you guys, because again, this was something I grew up with. Like this was just like one of my absolute favorite documentaries ever. Highly recommend it. The Ultimate Guide to Sharks, 1996. I think what I love about this documentary is that it respects sharks deeply. Like the tone is just so serious and so like, sharks are the centerpiece of myths and legends. Sharks are just respected and revered. They're misunderstood. They're biologically complex. The evolution is like just incredible. I feel like modern shark documentaries are just goofy, and they do a lot of gimmicks. And this one just takes sharks seriously. So it's the Ultimate Guide to Sharks, 1996. Just unbelievable. I can't recommend it enough. Just awesome guide. So yeah. So. Oh, I love that ninja, so I'm gonna star that. Howard, yes, I'm amazing. I love this documentary. Oh, I just saw your comment too. Purple maple. Whoa! Oh no, sorry. Pure maple syrup, moose meat, bison. Okay, so I've actually had bison before, which is really good, and maple syrup. But I had no idea you could do moose meat, which is so silly because that makes sense. That makes total sense that you could do moose meat. But I have never heard of that actually. So, all right. For me, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of like famous Virginia food that is something I like. I have to get. I don't know. I don't think there's something unique to Virginia. I will say, just in the region, you know. Okay, this is a guilty pleasure. Chesapeake Bay crab cakes, they're really good. Like they are what they say. They are what they say. Crab in the Chesapeake Bay is fantastic. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty fantastic. So Virginia's like old or something, therefore it's got to be something unique. Yeah, like we have something called Brunswick stew, but I've never had that, and I'm not a big stew guy. So there's that. Oh, I've never had normal crab cake. Yeah, crab cakes are awesome. They're so good. They're so. It's just like they're light, they're fluffy. Crab cakes and crab dip, if they're made right, you know, and even if they're made wrong, they're still really good. But if they're made right, they're like the most amazing thing you've ever had. It's just so good. Yeah, I don't think there's anything uniquely Virginian. There's like Smithfield ham, which is good, I guess. I mean that Smithfield ham is really good, but like I can't think of like an actual dish or cuisine that is like uniquely Virginian. As far as like if I expanded it to the Mid-Atlantic, I would say crab cakes are a big one. There's Smith Island cake, which I don't really like because it's too sugary. What else? Probably the crab cakes. I think I'm gonna go for the crab cakes, honestly, because it's like actually, hold on, Old Bay seasoning. Crab cakes with Old Bay seasoning, or potato chips with Old Bay seasoning. Old Bay is the bomb. It's a very intense kind of spice, and it is something regional to the Chesapeake Bay. So that's the bomb. That is my official submission. Like Virginia or Maryland, like Chesapeake crab cakes and Old Bay seasoning. So like really good. So, yeah, just really good. So, and then, you know, this is what I'm making for Thanksgiving. So this is my signature Thanksgiving recipe that I make for my family: Kentucky Derby pie, which is like chocolate chips and pecans in like this really nice sugary batter. It's really good. It's like a pecan pie but with chocolate chips. Actually, no, it's not. It's a little bit. It's a little bit more. It's not gooey like a pecan pie. It's kind of more like I don't know. It's better than a pecan pie. Like it's really good. So very chocolatey, super delicious. So that's not a Virginia thing, but that is a me thing that I grew up with, and like I like making for my family. So, and then we do have kind of a secret family recipe, which I'll give like kind of the broad overview. It's like, imagine having saltine crackers with chocolate chips on them, like mini chocolate chips on them, and then like this like glaze of butter and sugar. It's kind of like a secret family recipe. So I'll keep it top level, but like if you combine saltines, butter, sugar glaze, and chocolate chips, it's really good. It's a very good salty sweet snack. So I'm sure there's variants online probably, but that is an original that we keep close to the chest. So all right, so let's dive in to the whitetail dogfish, starting with its conservation assessment. I love our side tangents, by the way. They're really fun. But this is a data-deficient species living in the Southern Ocean. So what's really cool, and I probably have talked about it before, but I love to reiterate it again. And let me zoom out for a better view. So this is a very interesting environment, the Southern Ocean, and the Southern Ocean is Google Earth would be probably a better view, but it's the entire belt around Antarctica. And it's one of the big reasons why Antarctica is so hard to reach and why there's no cities in Antarctica, aside from the extreme cold and everything. Antarctica is very far away from other places, and it's separated from the other continents by this continually moving belt of ocean. called the Southern Ocean. It's this continually moving belt of water that creates extreme waves, extreme currents. It's very, very dangerous for ships. So it's a pretty badass environment. And it's kind of interesting when you compare with the Atlantic Ocean. Like, the Atlantic Ocean has a gyre that spins around. If you could see my mouse, it spins around in a circle, and the water is kind of circular. Going like by the continents, and so you can easily, if you were like a sailing ship, like an old 18th century pirate ship, like Pirates of the Caribbean or something, you could just like take the currents and allow them to carry you from North America back to Europe, and then the southern gyre takes you down Africa into the Caribbean. So this gyre works this way. Between Africa and South America, there's another gyre that's counterclockwise that works that way. The Indian Ocean has a current like that. Pacific Ocean has currents like that. So usually, like, the thing that dictates the currents is like these continents, kind of creating this basin, right? Like there's ocean, continent, and they help kind of dictate how the currents roll. And then when you get to the north, like the North Pole, this region is just so, like, there's so much land up here that it interrupts the flow of water, and it kind of breaks that force and breaks just the currents up as the world spins. When you get to the Southern Ocean, the world is spinning and there's no continent blocking the water. So the water is actually moving in this wild, huge current that is creating almost kind of like this ocean barrier. And it's not a barrier because clearly, we go to Antarctica, we do missions and everything in Antarctica. But it does create this like really powerful force of water where there's no interruption. There's no continent blocking the flow of water. So the water will actually go, and I forget if the direction is east to west or west to east, because it's like, and I'm going to be honest, like, when you look at things like on, actually, okay, let me look that up. When you look at things on a global scale, it gets a little confusing, like when you flip the hemispheres and stuff. But let me look that up. Southern Ocean current. I want to know how the current flows. It's the world's largest ocean current, and it's flowing west to east. Okay. Yeah, in this circle. Okay, it's west to east. So, right? Yeah, west to east. So it's going this way. So it's just this constant conveyor belt of water, like going around Antarctica. So it's an extremely challenging environment, which I think is really cool. It's really badass as far as it's a huge reason why we don't have cities in Antarctica, because you can't easily like get to Antarctica. You have to it's just treacherous waters, is what I'm saying. And it's really cool that this shark basically lives in this region, as far as, it's very far offshore from like South Africa, Southern Australia. It does get closer around New Zealand, but this is a Southern Ocean shark. And I think Southern Ocean sharks are really cool as far as like, they live in such a challenging environment. So yeah. Hey, Mondre Mondo, welcome back. It's good to see you again. Welcome back. Hope you've had a good week. So... be right back. Still into the Dr. John's Failure Recipe. Yes, so Southern Ocean currents, really cool, and like I would say it's probably, you can make an argument that it might be the most extreme ocean environment. I mean, there's a lot of great contenders as far as like deep water trenches and things like that. But the Southern Ocean is a very different kind of animal from other kinds of oceans. So it's really cool that this shark lives here. So let's check out its conservation assessment. Whitetail dogfish is a small deepwater shark with a wide but patchy distribution across in the Southern Ocean. Records include the Southeast Atlantic, Southern Indian, and Southwest Pacific Oceans, including records off Australia and New Zealand. It has been recorded from depths of 140 meters and deeper in the open ocean, as well as demersal on a submarine ridge at 512 meters, and is probably epipelagic, mesopelagic, or even bathypelagic. So epipelagic means it's swimming in the open water in the sunlit zone. Mesopelagic means it's swimming in open water in the twilight zone. And then bathypelagic, I believe that refers to sticking close to the bottom. Or it could refer to the midnight zone. Like anything that with the word bathyal, like bathymetry, it's usually related to the bottom. So The whitetail dogfish is only known from a handful of individuals, and so population size and trends are unknown, but is considered to have a relatively small population size in New Zealand. It is a very fecund species, so that's really good. It means it has a lot of pups, with a litter size of 59 pups documented, so that's actually really encouraging. It is infrequently taken as incidental bycatch in benthic trawl and tuna and longline fisheries. There are no species-specific management actions in place at this time. Given the lack of information on its distribution, biology, and in particular interactions with fisheries, this species is assessed as data deficient. So the nice thing is this assessment is becoming less and less common for sharks. The sand devil used to be data deficient, and now it's known as least concern, which is really cool. I think given that the whitetail dogfish lives in deep water and gives birth to a lot of pups, I think it's probably on the least concerned or near threatened side, maybe vulnerable, but I feel like this species is probably doing okay. That's my best guess, is that it's probably okay. So one thing I do want to take a look at again is, let's take a look at the distribution map and see if we can match it to ecoregions. So starting here, and actually let me send this in the chat. Okay. Oh, I like that. LO true. Maybe you can at least call it the most extreme epipelagic habitat. I think you're right, Minges. Yeah, the Southern Ocean. I think it's a good description of it. The Southern Ocean is the most extreme epipelagic habitat. I think that's totally fair because the currents are just so strong. So, but this I put a link in the chat. These are marine ecoregions of the world. I think these are really fascinating, and let me zoom out to the whole world so we can kind of see what these are. So when you think of latitude, like tropical waters, temperate waters, and Arctic waters, or polar waters, I should say, polar waters, tropic, temperate, and polar, when you think of geographic barriers like currents, or continents, islands, shelves, drop-offs, you can start to split the ocean up into different regions because these physical features start dictating what kinds of animals can and cannot live there. And you can apply that to the whole ocean and break it down into smaller and smaller pieces where you can start to see that, like, okay, this kind of habitat is very similar to a habitat that's like 12 kilometers away, but it's very dissimilar to a habitat that's like 100 kilometers away. So you start to break the ocean into these pieces called ecoregions, which I think is really cool. I think it's a very handy concept. I know we've talked about them before. I personally love them a lot, but I do think it's a very handy concept as far as management goes, where you can apply specific regional conservation actions or like marine protected areas to different ecoregions, because each one is going to function a little bit differently from another. So I do want to take a look and cross-reference where this dogfish lives and what ecoregion it pertains to. So and I think this map is just so cool to play around with. I really wish this was more popular, as far as I would have loved this in school. And I will say, to be fair, I would say the data sets have not been made public until... well, first of all, the framework wasn't made until the mid-2000s, and then the actual data sets were not made public until the mid to late 2010s. So, but the nice thing is there's actually three groups of ecoregions. There's terrestrial ecoregions, and there's a map on this as well. Freshwater ecoregions, so a map on that. And then marine ecoregions. So... and as you can see, the marine ecoregions are the least defined, where you have these like shallow water habitats defined, but look at all of this open ocean, look at all this habitat where we just really don't know what's there. And on top of that, I will say many open ocean habitats probably share similarities to other open ocean habitats, because the open ocean is like a marine desert, so you can kind of look at it a little bit like the Sahara, a little bit like an actual desert, because there's probably not as much activity going on. However, there's some areas that probably do have stuff going on that we just don't know about. In particular, areas with seamounts that probably generate upwelling. So we don't know. So there's a lot of work to be done on ecoregions in the world, but let's check out and cross-reference where this shark lives, starting with this little point. So this is a collection of seamounts here, kind of southwest of Cape Town. So let's see what this is. This is probably this ecoregion, which is, I want to know the identity of this, the Tristan Gouge, or I don't know if it's, I'm assuming that's the Tristan Gouge or the Tristan Go. I'm not really sure what this is. I've never actually heard of this, but this is part of temperate South America. So that's actually really cool. This geographically is closer to South Africa, but ecologically it's closer to South America. So that's really cool. Never heard of this before, the Tristan Gouge, or the Tristan Go. So that's pretty interesting, but that's a location where the shark is found. Let's see what else we got. This ecoregion, or this area here, let's see if these correspond to anything. This looks pretty empty. Let me double check. Yeah, that's actually not, this one's not defined, but here, light patch of blue water. This could be either, the Prince Edward Islands, or the Crozet Islands, or Crozet Islands. So Prince Edward Islands and Crozet Islands. Again, never heard of these before. It's really cool to see that, there's areas in the world where, just never heard of before. And, those are 3 distinct ecoregions already. 2 of which the shark can be found. One, we're not 100% sure if the shark can be here, but pretty cool to see that there's these three areas in the Southern Ocean that are distinct from each other, distinct enough to define their own ecoregion. So, let's see what else we got. I'll zoom out. Australia, so we've got this kind of area down here. What is this area? This is another area that might not be defined. This area. Yeah, this is not really defined. It's not that area. So yeah, this is a place where the shark could be found, but that's not corresponding to a particular ecoregion. So the shark could be found in the Bassian ecoregion, and that's Tasmania. So around the Bassian ecoregion surrounds that, so it's pretty cool to see. What else do we have? I think these are the last points in New Zealand. And actually, look how diverse New Zealand is. There's so many ecoregions around New Zealand. So that's actually, for a country of its size, that's actually extremely diverse. So let me zoom in. Yeah, let me make sure. I want to make sure I got the most accurate interpretation on this. So hold on. Shark is here. It's kind of in this area. It's hard to tell, so I'll just click on all 3 of these. The Bounty and Antipodes Islands is a potential location. South New Zealand and Central New Zealand. So, and I think that's it as far as where you can potentially find this shark. So it's actually pretty cool. So yeah, I love ecoregions. I put the link in the chat so people can play with this website. It's really fun. Oh, Howard, great question. Are these southern currents applicable to deep sea marine life? That's an excellent question. So, let's see. I'm looking it up on my phone right now because usually, that's an excellent question because usually ocean currents have a surface and bottom layer. So the surface layer, like for example, in the North Atlantic, the Gulf Stream is the surface layer of the ocean current, so it's going clockwise, right? Yeah, clockwise. And then there is a corresponding bottom layer that's going counterclockwise. So it's, if you look at a 3D model, like the North Atlantic is going clockwise, but its bottom layer is going counterclockwise. I wonder if we can find that actually. Ocean currents. That's an excellent question because I would imagine yes. I think that makes sense. So let's see. Okay. So here's a partial answer. Here is a deep current that is in the Southern Ocean. Oh, this is actually really cool. This is an extremely cool 3D model. Okay. So this is a deep water. So you can see the red is shelf waters or seamounts, and then the blue is a deep basin. So here is a deep current that is circulating. It's not going around the Southern Ocean, and actually this is really cool because look, there is a seamount that's blocking it. So this underwater seamount is blocking the deep current and creating like a gyre right here. But the surface current can still continue without interruption. So, yeah, that is an excellent question, Howard. And it's a really great illustration of just how complicated ocean currents are. This is a really good diagram of... There we go. Okay, this is a really good diagram. It's a little rough looking, but this is a really good diagram of what I was talking about where... you have the orange is the warm surface current, and then the blue is the cold bottom current. So, you get this warm surface current that is going up north. So this is the Gulf Stream. This is a really rough looking diagram, but we'll take it. And then it empties, it pours down into the depths once you get closer to Iceland and Canada. And then it creates this countercurrent in the deep that is going south. So, and the world is connected like this, and this system of currents and gyres, this like part of what makes this system works is temperature. And when you talk about global warming, this is a major concern with climate change: is will this screw up the currents in any way? So I'm not really familiar with I know it's a concern. I do know it's a scientific concern, but I'm not familiar with how much research has been done on it lately. And I'm not really sure how much research has been done about studying the movements and shift in the currents. I have not really heard anything personally, but this is a valid concern though, because just like how it's the same thing as storm patterns, where a common climate change argument is, if we don't fight it, if we don't have a plan, we're not going to be able to stop how temperature alters the rate of water rising at the equator and creating new storm systems and new storm patterns that are going to be unpredictable. And, you could create a rise in hurricanes in certain parts of the world, because of that. So there's similarly, there is an argument about that with ocean currents. So, and honestly, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's basically, and it's kind of frustrating when there's disinformation about climate change, because it just makes sense, where it's like boiling water with tea. If you raise the temperature of the water to a certain degree, it's going to evaporate, and just like a pot of tea, it will spout, right? So it's the same thing at the equator, where it's really hot, and it has the most solar energy, it creates this natural lift where there's natural evaporation, and that evaporation turns to clouds, and the clouds are floating around the world. And there's a system in which, they rise and fall, they deposit rain. This is why we have hurricanes. It's because of all the motion of water evaporating. That's basically the start of it. And, if you raise the temperature even by a couple degrees, due to man-made climate change, it increases the evaporation rate. It makes sense. It's just science. It just makes sense. So all that to say, it's the same kind of concern as increasing storms, or it's the same kind of concern as, weather patterns changing. It's the same mechanism. As you have changes in temperature that create different rates of evaporation, you're also potentially altering the direction and the movement of the water current, how warm water interplays with cold water, and will that do anything to the whole circulation system of the ocean? So, and again, I don't know much about that part as far as how much research has been done on it. It's such a huge subject that it's very complicated. But, you know, valid question to think about. So, valid question. So, oh, thank you, Minjas. Really glad that you could be here tonight. Sorry you have to go, but hope you have a great rest of your week, and happy Thanksgiving. And also, Howard, yes, New Zealand is wild. Let me go back to that map, because this is really... Let's look at all the ecoregions really quick, because I just think that's really cool how diverse this is. Because like when you compare with where I am in the Virginia Marine ecoregion, there's not a lot of variety as far as like the United States has what the Gulf of Mexico. I could do this. The East Coast of the United States is the Gulf of Mexico, the Floridian, the Carolinian, the Virginian, the Gulf of Maine and Bay of Fundy, and that's it. You know, so that's 5. New Zealand, which is much smaller than the East Coast of the United States, has so much more going on ecoregion-wise, so let's check it out. You got the Three Kings North Cape, the Central New Zealand ecoregion, South New Zealand, Snares Island, Auckland Island, Campbell Island. I'm going to count this. This might be a stretch, but I will count this. Macquarie Island, Bounty and Antipodes Islands, Chatham Island. Did I already get this one? Hold on. Oh, this might have froze on me. Hold on. I think I have to reset that. Reload. This is an amazing website. It does sometimes get goofy, as far as like it doesn't crash, but it sometimes requires a little bit of love. But yeah, so if you just refresh it, it will turn back on. There we go. Northeastern New Zealand. Did I already get this one? Yep. I think Cape North. And finally, Kermadec Island. So yeah. Let me see if this is. That's probably not New Zealand, the Lord and Norfolk Islands, but yeah, incredibly diverse. So very, very cool system here. So let's see. So, and by comparison, again, if you look at the United States, which is such a larger country, I mean those are larger ecoregions that cover more space, and it's not as diverse as far as like such a small space. So like New Zealand's such a small space and has so many ecoregions. The United States has such large space, but it's not as much. So Northern Gulf of Mexico, Floridian. I mean, yeah, I could just say these out loud. Northern Gulf of Mexico, Floridian, Carolinian, Virginian, Gulf of Maine and Bay of Fundy, Scotian Shelf, and then Gulf of St. Lawrence, Eastern Scotian Shelf, which is not part of the United States. That's part of Canada. So, but yeah, let's go back to our shark. But I just love ecoregions. I think it's a cool thing to talk about. So, and I'm glad I appreciate our ocean current detour because I think it's just a very important subject as far as just very cool to think about, and something to be mindful about. So, but the whitetail dogfish was discovered in 1986, so it's a relatively recent species. Same year as Top Gun. I think Top Gun is 1986. And I'm not gonna lie, I do like it. I do like Top Gun and the new one. I like both of them. I know people have opinions on it's either one or the other, but both are pretty fun. But whitetail dogfish, 1986 by Taniyuchi and Garrick. Let's see. Rare species known only from a few specimens taken by tuna longliners and trawlers. Ovoviparous, so this is kind of like live birth, except it's not with a placenta. So this is a very common method of reproduction for these kinds of sharks. With at least 59 young in a litter, so that's that's a lot of pups actually. So again, I feel confident that this species is probably doing okay. So yes, Howard, absolutely. I'm going to star that comment. Ocean currents affect everything on the planet. Yes, absolutely. This is interesting. This is not showing me pictures of the shark, even though there is one. Oh, no image available for the species. Drawing shows typical species in Scymnodalatias, so there's not even an image here. That's pretty new. So we'll kind of keep looking. Let's see. Ooh, this is a cool image here. This is uh, Food and Agriculture, Ocean United Nations. Okay. Reproducer permission, illustration by Mark Dando. Oh, he's such a good artist. So key features of the whitetail dogfish: snout short, robust, and conical. Pectoral fins elongated. Two spineless dorsal fins, so that's characteristic of sleeper sharks. Their cousins have the spines, like lantern sharks have spines, dogfish have spines, but sleeper sharks don't. Second dorsal fin slightly larger than the first. Upper caudal fin margin nearly twice the length of the lower. No anal fin, like all squaliforms. Color is a dark brown to mottled gray above, lighter below, with conspicuous white blotches on the caudal fin base. So this is the namesake for the species. Beautiful pattern. I do think it's such an unusual looking shark, and I love like one of a kind sharks like that. So. Great shot of the teeth. I think I might have some close-ups of the same images. Do I have this right? Yes, so we can kind of see some of the teeth in action. So here are like the really long needly teeth of the upper jaw. So given a nasty bite, probably to like hook, I would say squid or fish. So definitely operating more like fishing hooks. These are grasping teeth. You know, like sand tigers or makos. These are teeth to help ensure prey doesn't escape. Very, very nasty looking. And then this beautiful here. So we were right that this is an interlocking belt of knife blades. So these are great shearing teeth for maybe latching on to like a carcass of a larger fish and just wriggling around and shearing a huge chunk of flesh off. You know, sharks like dogfish or cookie cutter sharks have a similar kind of interlocking tooth mechanism. I wonder if these kind of teeth are sheddable, kind of like the kitefin shark. Maybe not, because kitefin sharks are distant enough from sleeper sharks where it may not be the same kind of thing. But still, at the same time, this is kind of reminiscent of a kitefin shark having those like huge, broad triangles that all interlock in this lower jaw. So really nasty bite as far as like if you can imagine that shearing flesh. It's a really, for such a small shark, that's a really intense jaw set actually. So yeah, I would not want to be a fish or a squid on the receiving end of that. And maybe even like, you know, this might be a scavenging kind of shark who could maybe prey on whale carcasses or other large prey items that, you know, like these kind of teeth just, I feel like help the shark probably tear out a large chunk of flesh. I think that's possible. And it's cool to see how different the tooth types are. This is a really great illustration of that. So upper teeth are very long and needly, but the lower teeth are these beautiful triangular knife blades. So very, very effective dentition here. So small shark, but you know, definitely a very effective predator. We already went through this art guide, so we'll take a look at a new one. This is about Scymnodalatias in general, so this is another FAO guide. I put the FAO guides in the front because they're usually very informative. So let's see. And I'll just scan through this. These are just kind of more like detailed diagnostic features, but you don't really need to read that. This is a cousin that lives in the North Atlantic. It might be helpful to kind of learn about how this carries on with its own life. So this is Scymnodalatias garricki, the Azores dogfish. Azores is a really cool shark location, by the way. Similar dentition, but you know, you can definitely see it's a bit different as far as like these are curved a little bit more backwards. And I wonder if this is a smaller kind of shark. I want to read about its behavior. This one is oceanic or deep benthic in open ocean over seamounts along the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Biology is essentially unknown. A 80 centimeter female reported to be of the species had several embryos. Okay, so similar to the whitetail dogfish, it might also be fecund. Data deficient, so this is really not much known about it. This one is the only known member of the genus occurring in the northern hemisphere, as the other three Scymnodalatias species all occur in the southern hemisphere. That's it. So not a lot known about this group. This is very, very rare sharks. Here is an actual entry with the whitetail dogfish. Really nice illustration here. Okay. Same name, so the British Blanca, and the French name, which I dare not pronounce. Again, just highlighting the whitetail, upper caudal fins and white blotch. More details about its physical appearance, which we'll kind of skip over. Kind of more interested in behavior. Known from only a few scattered records, including the southeast Atlantic, southwest of South Africa. Lives in the oceanic in the epipelagic zone, where is a rare catch on tuna lines from 0 to approximately 200 plus meters, in water approximately 1,400 to 4,000 meters deep. Also off a submarine ridge at 512 meters near the bottom. It could rise near the surface at night, but this is speculative. This is kind of repeating the same information that we know, so again, it's not a lot. A second specimen from New Zealand waters had 36 embryos. That's still a lot for a shark. Size at birth uncertain. Incidental and rare bycatch. This is encouraging. It's an incidental and rare bycatch of tuna longliners. Utilization not recorded. So I think this species is probably doing okay, even though it's data deficient, and it's appropriately data deficient because we just don't know much about it. I think overall it's probably doing fine conservation wise. So here is an individual. This is definitely a living or a once living individual. So this is not an illustration. It's a captured individual. But it does look really damaged. It looks bloated as far as maybe when it was transported to the surface. You still get that white patch on the upper caudal fin, but it's... I can't tell if this is the natural color pattern or if this might be damaged or excessively damaged. Let's see. More info... Yeah, not a lot on this. There's two IUCN report cards, so we'll kind of take a look at these. Oh, sorry. Has this, I just saw your comment, Howard. Has this gotten a little bit better? Sorry about that, as far as the audio quality. I feel like my internet's been a little bit worse lately, to be honest. So please let me know if it gets better. Sorry about that. Let's see. Summary: the whitetail dogfish is naturally rare, and there's insufficient information on its biology, distribution, and catches to accurately assess its status. Therefore, the species is assessed as data deficient and negligible because of its very rare capture in fisheries. This report is saying it has a circumglobal distribution in the Southern Ocean. In Australia, it is only known off of Tasmania, with a record of off northeast Australia requiring confirmation. See, there's currently no information on population size, structure, or trend for the species. Yeah, this is one of the rarest ones that we've seen. Literally almost no information on it. This is an updated report. Let's see if there's anything new. Report card remarks known from very few specimens. This has changed. Stated deficient still, but undefined stock. And again, it is naturally rare, and there is insufficient information on its biology, distribution, and catches to accurately assess its status. Oh, thank you. That specimen looked pregnant to me. Oh, interesting. I don't see claspers, so it could be a gravid female. You might be right. I just wonder if there would be a difference in the distension in the stomach. Like, would it matter that the stomach has descended, beneath the lower jaw, like beneath the gill slits, or if it would be more aligned with kind of like, where the ovaries are further back on the body? I'm not 100% sure. So, that is an interesting theory. It could be a pregnant female individual, and they did say that individuals landed, like gravid females that were landed, had they did have the counts of how many pups were in the litter. So this could be one of those gravid females. So, but I can't tell from this photo. I can't tell if this was a distended specimen from specimen damage, or if this may perhaps be a pregnant female. That's a really good theory, though. So it could be. It could be. Let's see, same thing. It's only known from Tasmania. Habitat and biology. Whitetail dogfish probably occurs near the bottom and in pelagic waters at depths of 150 to 500 meters. The species appears to be highly fecund with a litter size of at least 59 pups. However, the gestation period and pupping interval is unknown. Little else is known of its biology. Let's see. This is an interesting title. I'll scan this just because the dogfish is in here, but this is the Dentical Multiverse, Morphological Diversity of Placoid Scales across autogeny in the Portuguese dogfish, Citroschimus coelolepis, and its systematic implications. I won't really read the abstract, just because, or I won't read it just yet because I'm not sure how much of our shark has to play in it, so we'll just kind of see. Scymnodalatias, commonly known as sleeper sharks, are a small family of dogfish sharks from the order Squaliformes. This family currently has 6 accepted genera and 17 nominal species, although the status of some nominal species of Scymnodalatias and Scymnodalatias are questionable. These sharks live in deep water and are distributed worldwide. Several aspects of the basic biology of these sharks are poorly understood, including their age at maturity, reproductive behavior, and dispersal and movement patterns. We also know little about the interspecific and ontogenetic variation of the dermal denticles covering the body surfaces of sleeper sharks, despite the importance of denticle shapes for identifying species, understanding their evolution and ecology. So we won't go too much into that. There's a Scymnodalatias. Oh, there's our Scymnodalatias. So albicauda, I think it's just showing that it was part of this study, but there's not many more notes on it. They're talking. Whoa, actually, this is pretty interesting. So look, even though our shark is briefly mentioned, this is actually very interesting information. So you've got Scymnodalatias albicauda, so the whitetail dogfish. 20 embryos off of Taiwamaru, juvenile female, 416 millimeters. So that's actually a little bit larger than. Let's see how large that is actually. Millimeters to feet. But that's not the thing that I'm most interested in. The thing I'm most interested in is this. The depth is 2,200 to 2,300 meters. That is extremely deep. That is very far down in the midnight zone. So that's actually far deeper than the previous individuals have caught, or than the depths of the previous individuals and where they were found. So that's actually pretty interesting. And this small detail might have added more to understanding of the species. So. Okay, so when you look at 416... Oh, I'm sorry, that's millimeters. What am I doing? Okay, so that's a little one. Never mind. I'm not even going to calculate that. Sorry. So, Not 416 centimeters, 416 millimeters, so that's very small. Still, the depth is really interesting. That's extremely deep water, so that shedded a little bit of light. Like the depth range might be deeper than we originally thought. Let's see. This is a different kind of study. Conservation status of New Zealand chondrichthyans. 13 taxa released as data deficient, 10 from not threatened, and 3 from sparse. Reflecting uncertainty about their status, they're the gray roundfin cat shark, the rough-skinned cat shark, or roundfin cat shark, the pale/New Zealand cat shark, the fleshy-nosed cat shark, the deepwater bulldog cat shark, that's a cool name, freckle cat shark, Mahler's lantern shark, whitetail dogfish, Sherwood's dogfish, that's another Scymnodalatias, the velvet dogfish, Zamius, which is really cool, and then a couple of rays and skates. Yeah, not much on this shark. We have a couple more papers to read, but I don't think there's a lot on the species. And as such, I do have one more thing to review as far as deep water sharks go. Yeah, this is just citing the shark as a part of a study. And then this, I think, is just a checklist. Yeah, it's not, it's just, we really don't know much about it. It's so rare. So this is another, Howard, good question. I just saw this. Could it be bloating? It could be. Like usually if animals are transported from the depths to the surface, it does affect and distort. Just the rapid expansion does affect their shape. So it could be bloating, especially maybe after surface capture. So I try to figure out where the study shark lived, both geographically and then its place in a water column. Oh, that's a cool question. Let's see. I wonder if we can get some bathymetry actually, and you know what? That gives me a good idea. There we go. I love the bathymetric data viewer. Okay. So this is another cool website. I really appreciate this is a fun map day. And this one in particular is fun to play with. So this is NOAA. From the United States, this is the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration. And you can play around with this a lot. I like getting rid of all this junk. The multi-beam track life surveys, I just get rid of that. And I like adding the color shaded relief. And there's another one. Is it blue topo? Okay, there's that one, but I feel like there's one more. Multi-beam. That kind of works. Let's see what else we got. Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for. DM color shaded relief. Okay. Okay. And we'll play with this. Let's go to New Zealand and kind of get an idea of where this shark lives. So this website is really cool. This maps out the entire world, and like it's not going to have every single corner as far as a data set, but when you for bathymetry, but when you zoom in, you get to see some really cool details. And my favorite part is anywhere I put the mouse, it's going to give me the depth. So let's kind of take a look at where the shark lives. And I'll put this one near the other maps. Alright, so let's kind of pinpoint. I'm curious about this region in New Zealand. So this is off the coast of Dunedin. Somewhere here. So you can see this underwater plateau, the Campbell Plateau. The Bounty Plateau. These track lines are kind of distracting me, so can I get rid of that? Okay, we're gonna get rid of that. So this is really cool. You can kind of see the depths here. Actually, there's a lot you can see here. This is really, really cool to see the bathymetry. So look at that. look at these canyons right here. So here's New Zealand with its topography and everything. This is probably near, I don't want to just double check. Dunedin is kind of at this point. Okay, so Dunedin is right here. And I also just want to double check one more time. Okay, so the shark is somewhere off this area. So the shark is somewhere here. So it's kind of cool. So the shark is living in this plateau area. If I left my mouse here, this is really deep water, 1,400 meters. So that is definitely the midnight zone at the deepest point. But the shark can live in the mid-water column. But this is what's interesting to me. So this is a shelf with oceanic canyons. The canyons can be like really great upwelling areas, so a lot of nutrients come up to the surface. They rush up these channels, which could be they could be ancient river valleys. You know, the depth is a little insane, so probably not. But it is interesting to see how like these channels have been carved, and there's so many of them. I've never really seen an arrangement like this that goes into the Bounty Channel of New Zealand. So. But again, the shark is kind of more in this area around the plateaus, and when I leave my mouse alone and I can see the elevation in the bottom left corner, the flags on the display might be hiding it, but I see this is 1,200 meters, so that's midnight zone, 1,201, 1,400. This is all extremely deep water, so this is where no light penetrates down here. So this is a pretty cool habitat for where the shark was found. Let's look around to the other places. Howard, then I research which fish and fauna share that environment before I can draw. Oh, I'm going to start that. I love that process. Because I noticed that with your art, and I really love that signature where you add, like, you know, not just a shark, but you add, like, animals that live in similar environments. It's super cool. Also, look at this. This is actually a little eerie. So here is this plateau, but then look how deep it is down here. If I leave my mouse around, oh gosh, this is 4,000 meters. That is actually really freaky. So, you know, you've got this like kind of comparatively shallow plateau, which is still the midnight zone, but then this basin between New Zealand and Australia is extraordinarily deep. And where does the shark live in relation to this? Ooh, okay. Yeah, so the shark is somewhere here, which is Challenger Plateau. So this is relatively shallower compared to the rest, but it's still 1,000 meters, so it's still the midnight zone. And then, what about here in the Tasman Sea? What's going on here? That's actually kind of interesting. It looks like the shark has been found around this seamount around the Tasman Basin, but this seamount is still extremely deep. That's 2,500 meters, so unbelievable. It's kind of wild to see how like just sharply this drops off in Western New Zealand. That's incredible, actually. I want to see how this compares to the rest of the ocean, by the way. So not as unusual. I mean, the rest of the ocean is kind of like this darkness as well, but still. How does this compare to other parts of the Southern Ocean? This is pretty interesting. You can see this light blue speckling of seamounts. Some of these seamounts are where the shark is found, so... Okay. A Gulhas Basin. That's really cool. And the Gulhas Current is a pretty famous current, actually, in South Africa. Alright, so shark is somewhere here, still very deep, around the midnight zone. It probably has a very wide distribution. I'm just going to make a guess that this shark probably is in a lot of locations. Even though it's rare, a lot of these locations are probably not super accessible or maybe of interest to people as far as like they're just such deep water environments, and they're kind of adjacent to seamounts, but not necessarily over them. This one in the Agulhas Basin, 4,000 meters. So, pretty fascinating map. Oops, sorry. Looking at this last collection of seamounts here in the Cape Basin, still deep. These are all midnight zone locations, so it's pretty cool to see. Just for fun, let's zoom out completely. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool where you can see this beautiful mosaic of seamounts that are light blue. If I zoom in on the Atlantic, just as an example, you've got the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, which is where the three continents collide. So Africa, North America, and Asia, they all converge here, which I think this is the Azores. Yeah. If I take this and this off, you can kind of see a more uniform map, but these layers have more detail. So, but yeah, this is the NOAA bathymetry map. It's a lot of fun to play with. So I left it in the chat. Let me make sure it's there. So yeah, it's cool to see just like visualize depth. It's a lot of fun to kind of like get a sense of that. So, all right, I think that's all I have on Scymnodalatias. So what we can do, especially since it's almost 10:30, is I think it might be a fun time to pick a shark for next week and actually do an active pick. Scymnodalatias albicauda, there's not a lot of information on the whitetail dogfish, so I think in lieu of that, we can kind of take a look at other deep water sharks that share a similar habitat. This is in the same area, the southeastern Atlantic, so it is part of the Southern Ocean. So I think it might be fun to see what other sharks call this place home. And please leave a comment in the chat if one of these sharks that we go through catches your eye. So let's start at the very end, because we usually... Oh, actually, you know what? I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. Let me see if there's a summary of this region first. Because I was about to say we usually start with the dogfish and everything, but this might have a nice overview of the region. So I'm gonna take a sip of the tea. And please leave multiple comments of sharks you'd like to review, just because we've covered a lot. This is stream number 95, so we've covered a lot of sharks at this point. All right. Beautiful art. I love the FAO guide's art, but we have a kind of cat shark here. Not sure if that's a marble cat shark or a different kind. A kind of multi-gilled sawfish. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, sorry, not a sawfish, saw shark. So this is like a 6-gilled saw shark of some kind. That looks like a crocodile shark, if I'm not mistaken. Super cool. That looks like some kind of swell shark. This is a frilled shark. And it could be the South African frill shark, actually. And then we got some beautiful skates, rays, and chimeras. So here we go. The present guide covers the deep sea southeastern Atlantic Ocean and that portion of southwest Indian Ocean. And include from these coordinates. It includes a selection of cartilaginous fish species of major, moderate, and minor importance to fisheries, as well as those of doubtful or potential use to fisheries. It also covers those little-known species that may be of research, educational, and ecological importance. In this region, the deep-sea chondrichthyan fauna is currently represented by 50 shark, 20 batoid, and 8 chimera species. This guide includes full species accounts for 37 shark, 9 batoid, and 4 chimera species, selected as being the more difficult to identify and are commonly caught. Each species is described, depicted with a color illustration and photo, and key distinguishing features of similar-looking species occurring in the same area are highlighted, allowing for easy and accurate identification in the field. Keys to the shark and batoid orders and families, together with keys to chimera and skate genera, are also provided. This guide is intended to help fishery workers collecting catch data in the field and identification of the cartilaginous fish species that they may encounter. is conceived to be updatable, offering the possibility to add new species accounts as new species are described. So I love the work that FAO does. It's super cool. We don't need to do how to use this guide. We'll just kind of keep going through. I'm going to stop to see if there's anything about the region in general. Talks about shark features. I kind of love this, by the way. This illustration is of a wacko, non-existent shark. This bizarre creature has a nictitating membrane, has dorsal fin spines, has an anal fin. This is a shark that does not exist at all, but it's kind of like the sharkiest shark, so you can kind of get a sense of features that you could see on any shark at any time. But this particular drawing is of a fake shark. There's no living shark that looks anything like this. So it's kind of fun trivia for that. And I don't know rays and chimeras enough to know if they've got a super chimera or a super ray. So okay. We've got the orders, which we don't need to really go through right now. We just want to go right into the sharks. So here we go. First one, African frilled shark, which is up for grabs. I don't think we covered this species. But really cool appearance, really great photographs. And actually, let me zoom in so we can get a full screen view. And it's kind of cool to see the size comparisons too. But composite shark, kind of fun. Oh yeah, Howard, South African frill shark. I just saw your comment. Yes, this is a different kind of frill shark. The original frill shark is Scymnodalatias anguinians, but this one is Scymnodalatias africana. So yeah, I'm definitely down for that. So this is definitely on our list. If you want to cover that next week, we could totally do that. So this would be a good pick. Yeah, so Scymnodalatias africana. I'll put that name in the chat, but if you see another shark, feel free to add it as well. Okay, African frilled shark. But yeah, it's really cool. There used to be a time where there's only one frilled shark species, but this one was recently discovered. This was 2009. So this is a brand new kind of frill shark. And love this photograph. Just really, really freaky looking. It's such a cool group of sharks. There's nothing else like them. So. We have Heptranchius perlo. I think we did cover this one. The sharp-nosed seven-gill shark. Great illustration. Beautiful photograph, actually. It's a shame it is an individual that is landed. It looks like it's alive in this photograph with the reflective eyes. It's just a really good shot of the species, but yeah. Great shot of the really great illustration of the creepy teeth on this kind of shark. We've got the blunt-nosed six-gill shark, Hexantius griseus, which is a classic. We've definitely covered it on the stream before. So 3 kinds of Hexantiforms. So the frilled shark, or the African frilled shark, the sharp-nosed seven-gill shark, and then the blunt-nosed six-gill shark. Jumping over to angel sharks, we have the sawback angel shark, so squatiniforms. Very pretty species. Really cool fins, too. Very squared off looking. And a nice thorny ridge on the back, too. Pretty large. It's kind of cool to see this is the size of a human. So that's as big as a person. That's pretty impressive. Next we got saw sharks. I think we did the six-gill saw shark before. Pliotrema warreni. That scientific name sounds familiar. Great photograph of this individual, by the way. Beautiful eyes reflecting back. Mitsukurnidae, so we're in the lanoforms already. The goblin shark, so we've totally done the goblin shark before. Mitsukurna austoni. I love this note. Soft, flabby body. There was recent goblin shark footage that was really good, by the way. I'll have to find it, actually. Let's see. Let's just see if it's here. It's not that one. It's not that one. It's not that one. I'm just gonna spend a couple seconds on this because it was brand new and it was really cool. So that's not that. It's not that. Is this one? Yeah. No! Don't give me an ad. I don't want your product. Sorry. This is a brand new piece of footage, so I do wanna pull it up once this stupid crap goes away. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. So yeah, check it out. This is pretty new. I'm gonna subscribe. This is a channel called Mindaru UWA. But look at this goblin shark swimming in the darkness. Look at that. What's extremely cool about this is you can see the shark swimming in its natural state where the mouth is flush with the snout. So it's not the creepy namesake with like the protruding jaws. Like the jaws are flush with the snout, so it has kind of like a paddle shaped look. One more time. Very cool footage of a goblin shark just swimming naturally in life. I almost wonder. I will say this guy looks so different. I mean, it could be just the legit goblin shark, but I wonder. It wouldn't be surprising if there was multiple species of goblin shark, where it looks a little different from the classic goblin sharks that we're used to. Just there's something about the proportion of the eyes, and just how big this individual is. But I could be wrong. It could be just the classic Mitsukurana Astani goblin shark. So. But anyway, really cool shot. That was brand new. It was recommended to me, like on my YouTube. So I was like, oh yeah, it's just really great footage. Look at the maximum size of goblin sharks, by the way. So a human measures up to the tail. So goblin sharks get to be enormous. That's actually absolutely terrifying. I did not realize they got to be that big. So that's wild to think about. There's a crocodile shark. It is still currently our #1 most popular shark on the stream. That episode currently holds the title for most viewed shark, which is kind of funny. One thing, it's kind of fun to see how they're ranking. I do check my analytics pretty often, and it's kind of fun to see the sharks like competing with each other. And I have seen a rise in the big eye sand tiger, so that one is getting more and more popular. But this one, the crocodile shark, is currently the front runner on the channel. This is the most popular stream we've had so far. So, but we'll see. Either way, our stream is lambda-form dominated currently, which makes sense because we've covered a lot last year. So, the thresher shark. Actually, no, sorry, big eye thresher. This is Alopius superciliosus, which is kind of in life. I feel like the eyes are a little freaky. But it has like possum eyes. You can kind of see that here, where the eyes are so huge that they actually stare upward as well. But I think it's a very good evolutionary feature to help hunting. So as far as looking at prey items from all directions, including upward. So, which would be useful for a shark, swimming underneath a bait ball and whipping it with its tail. This is actually a very important feature. So this is also a pretty huge individual. Basking sharks, Cedorhinus maximus, the good old basking shark, which, by the way, is coming back down to Virginia this time of year. The water is getting cold. Dogfish are coming back into the bay, and basking sharks are slowly migrating south. They're very rare here. I don't think we do have them, but like I don't think I've heard of one in ever. Actually, I've heard of whale sharks here. We've had verified reports of whale sharks, and we've had verified reports of basket sharks, but not really famous newsworthy ones yet. We've had a newsworthy whale shark report, but not a basket shark report yet. But they are here. They do come down here in the winter. And we have puffins too. Puffins do come down here in the winter as well. I was lucky enough to see one was it last March? Not this year, but March 2023. I saw a puffin offshore, which was really fun to see. So, but which is another cold water species. But yeah, basking shark, the second largest shark in the world, and you can just see how much it dwarfs a human. It's so cool to see that. But, you know, completely harmless planktonophores. So now we're getting into the squaliforms. So this is probably going to be very speciose because we're talking about deep water sharks. And I guess I'll go through this kind of slowly. So we've got some kind of bramble shark, a rough shark, so you can kind of see such a difference in shape. The pure metal shape versus like the brambles on the skin. Pike dogfish is here. Wow. So Squalus acanthius, the famous pike dogfish. Another couple cousins, other kinds of squalus, other kinds of dogfish sharks. Centrophoridae, so these are all gulper sharks. Centrophilus granulosus is the classic gulper shark. We also have Diania, which is, I think that's the arrowhead dogfish, if I'm not mistaken. And Mopteridae lantern sharks. We have quite a lot here. It's really cool to know that these sharks do glow. They do emit bioluminescence. And the velvet bellies, you know, they do kind of help with that, which is super cool. Scymnodalatias, the sleeper sharks. So Citruschimus coelolepis, I think that's a Portuguese dogfish. These are other kinds of sleeper sharks I'm not familiar with. Look at this one. Zamius squamulosus. We'll have to figure out what this is because I think it's a velvet dogfish, but that is an intense looking shark. Just this almost pitch black color with these like glowing white eyes. That is an amazing looking animal, actually. We've got our white fin dogfish. We've got the southern sleeper shark, Somniosus antarcticus, which is super cool. Dalatidae kitefin sharks, including a kind of cookie... Oh, this is the cookie cutter shark, Icystius brasiliensis. And here we go. Oh yeah, Howard, when you get through all the sharks, could you move on to raising chimeras? Absolutely, love to do that. Because it's primarily a shark channel, but as such, like I don't really give raising chimeras a lot of attention, so I'd love to check them out. I definitely love to check them out for comparison. So we'll go through them after the sharks. We've got the bramble shark, which we've covered before. Great illustration. The angular rough shark. I think we've done this one before as well. We've definitely done the pike dogfish, just world famous species, also known as the spiny dogfish. Beautiful illustration there. Great shot of one too. It's a very healthy looking female individual, actually. The blunt-nosed spiny dogfish, which we've never seen before. Cute little cousin of the pike dogfish. The short spine spur dog. I think we did do that. That sounds quite familiar. I love how long the spines are on it, by the way, too. The gulper shark, really great group of sharks. Very, very rare. Makes sense. That's a... Well, that's actually a recently landed individual, so... The leaf scale gulper shark. This one's pretty interesting. And you can see how it gets its name with the dermal denticles here, having kind of like that leaf-like shape. Very damaged individuals in these photographs. The bird-beak dogfish. So I got this wrong. Diania calcea is the bird-beak dogfish. Check out the second dorsal fin is pretty huge and unusually shaped relative to like the pelvic fins and the caudal fin. They're all concentrated together. Pretty interesting feature where the front is more elongated, but the back is just more compressed. Interesting looking animal. Okay, lantern sharks. Love these guys. Here's the black dogfish. very damaged photograph there. The southern lantern shark, really great illustration. Beautiful, huge eyes with, again, the velvet texture on the belly. This one's very damaged, but it's kind of cool to see the translucent spines. This one's interesting. Hemopterus viator. I've never heard of this one. This might be brand new. The smooth lantern shark. Hemopterus pusillus. Again, gorgeous eyes. Like, kind of eerie, but really cool. Like, this beautiful aquamarine color. Again, very, very preserved individual, probably taken out of formalin for the photograph. So, the sculpted lantern shark. This one's new. Huh. Oh, it's a really pretty animal. You can see the iridescence too, and some striations on the side. So, very, very pretty color to this. The Portuguese dogfish, Centroschimus coelolepis, which is a deep water shark that's pretty common in the Atlantic. Very bloated individual in this photograph, unfortunately. Zamius columellosus. I hope they have an article on this because I'm just very curious what this is. The rough-skinned dogfish, Centroschimus austinii. Pretty large caudal fin. Okay, that's actually a really cool photograph of the coloration on the species. This one is also almost uniformly black. It's kind of cool to see, you know, as far as just like, we're used to sharks being like gray or like, you know, coppery, and it's kind of amazing to see sharks in deep water environments where it's like, yeah, they're more of a uniform black color. It's really cool. Centroschimus crepidator. Love the name in Latin. The long-nosed velvet dogfish. Really cool first dorsal fin. Look at the slope from the head. Kind of like almost like this continuous line. It's really beautiful lines on the animal, actually. It's not like a classic triangular shape. It's a slope from the head to the first dorsal fin. I hope we get to Zamius. I hope it has like a profile. Oh, it does. Okay, the velvet dogfish. Again, really eerie looking shark. This one's kind of grabbing my eye a little bit. Just these like white, pale eyes, but like really dark body. I wonder what this looks like in life. Yeah, just kind of like this really freaky looking, like, look at the pale eyes, but then like there's just the dark coloration. That's a good creepy shark, like a good like deep water creepy shark, actually. Here is our shark for tonight. I'm really glad we did cover it, and again, this is a call out for future shark scientists. Scymnodalatias albicauda, the whitetail dogfish. This is a species that we don't know much about. It's a beautiful shark and one of a kind. There's nothing else that really looks like it as far as its color pattern, and it lives in a really cool environment as far as the Southern Ocean goes, but it needs research. So if anybody wants to do a research project or devote a study to sharks in a career on sharks, this is a really cool candidate. It's a really cool species to study as far as like we don't know much about it. So yeah. Come on down as far as future shark scientists who may want to cover a new species and pave a way of understanding. The whitetail dogfish is a good candidate. Gorgeous looking animal too. I do love the color palette on it. I think it's really unique and very interesting looking. So yeah. The southern sleeping shark, we did take a look at it earlier, but I do love just how huge this animal is. Relative to the human, you can kind of see it here. Really, really impressive looking shark. Pygmy shark, Euprotomicris bispinatus. This might be the smallest shark in the world. And look at this. Look how tiny that dorsal fin is. The first dorsal fin is like just so little. I think this is famous for being the smallest one in the world. Such a little guy. The long-nosed pygmy shark, which looks completely different. This dorsal fin looks so different from the other one. Further up on the body, and much larger in size. So, the cookie cutter shark, infamous shark that does attack people actually. We've covered that on the stream, but these sharks have been implicated in shark attack, where they will, unfortunately, in Hawaii, swim up to bathers in the open ocean and take a chunk of flesh out of them. It's really horrifying. Ooh, would not want to be that person. The black rough scale cat shark. I think we are in Carcharidiform, so this is very different order. This is one of the demon cat sharks, Aprosteris, so very cool. Aprosteris microps, the small eye cat shark. I think we covered this one. Another kind of demon cat shark. Anything Aprosteris is known as a ghost cat shark or demon cat shark. It's a really cool group. Galeas poly, the African sawtail cat shark. So I was wrong. This is not a marble cat shark. This is a different kind of species with a really beautiful color pattern. Probably helps with camouflage in shallow water environments. Oh yes, Howard, sorry, I just saw your comments. Amazing the amount of coexisting species, absolutely. They attack nuclear submarines. Love that about cookie cutter sharks. You're absolutely right. And they attack submarine cables. They're pesky. They do bite a lot of different things. They bite humans, bite submarines, bite cables. They bite whales. I think they actually bite sharks. So. Oh, I love these guys. Isaac cat shark. Holohalailurus regani. Holohalailurus regani. That's a mouthful, but look at that gorgeous color pattern. Gorgeous shark. So in South Africa, there's a group of cat sharks. They're either known as Eddies or Isaacs. The Happy Eddie is one of them, and Isaac is another one. So the Isaac cat shark. It's pretty fun, also known as Isaac. I'm not sure the origin of those names, but I think they're kind of cool because they're very regional. So, but yeah, beautiful shark. Oh, Scalarinis capensis, the yellow-spotted cat shark. I have no idea what this is. This one is completely new to me. Yellow is a very unusual color for sharks, by the way. It's really rare. We don't really see a lot of it, but look at this. Another gorgeous shark. That is a beautiful animal. Wow, that's a really great candidate for a future stream too. Like that one's amazing. Scylornis curvigoni, the West African cat shark. Another very pretty shark. Color palette reminiscent of horn sharks and swell sharks. But really nice classic rusty orange with black spots. Pseudotriachus microdon, the false cat shark, a very unique group of animals. Different from other kinds of cat sharks. It's an entirely its own family, which is really cool. And that's it for sharks. So we've got a lot of cool ones. So yeah, I think it's time for rays. If it sounds good, also, it sounds like the the African frill shark is going to be next week's stream. So let me know if that sounds cool, Howard. But I think that's a really good pick, actually. It's cool to see a brand new kind of frill shark. Let me I don't think we did that one. I just want to make absolutely sure. I'm just going to check on my phone. The wonders of technology, making sure that my Hexantiform playlist doesn't have that species. I don't think it does. It does not. All right, let's do it. Yeah, South African frilled shark would be a really good pick. So brand new frilled shark species. So time to look at the rays. This will carry us through the rest of the night. But what's fun is like I'm not as I kind of know my rays a little bit, just by nature of knowing sharks. I kind of know the rays, but there's still a lot that I need to learn about them. So this is going to be kind of new for me, and I'm excited to see this. We've got a kind of torpedo ray. And I may have mentioned this before, but torpedo rays get their name because they can electrocute the hell out of you. They are very, very good at electrocuting prey items. And for humans, if humans step on them or bother them, they're going to feel like they got knocked over by a torpedo. That's kind of how they get their name. It's just such a thunderbolt. Like they will kick your ass. Fortunately, it's really rare for people to encounter torpedo rays. But yeah, when it happens, it happens. We have a fish, I've mentioned this fish before, in the bay, but also on the coast, called stargazers, and they have a similar kind of feature where they electrocute you if you step on them, and they'll definitely make you hurt. But torpedo rays, they'll knock you out. Like torpedo rays have, I wonder if they'll mention any of the the electrical organs. The diet of this electric ray consists mainly of large bottom pelagic fishes. Fishermen used to handle these rays with respect, trying to avoid the powerful electric shocks. Isn't that really cool? Like that there is a fish that can electrocute you. It's really cool. Very not terrifying, but like really cool. Just yeah. It's incredible to think about. It's a little mind-boggling, but yeah. Because you can't think of a land animal that can do that, but fish can do this. So, torpedo rays, electric eels, stargazers. I feel like there's another group of fish that can do something like that, and I can't remember who they are, but yeah. African soft-nosed skate. So skates and rays are different. Skates lay eggs, and they do not have the stingers like rays do. So, and they have like a bit of a different look to them too. Like I feel like they look like they have larger pelvic fins typically. So, the big mouth skate. Yeah, like larger pelvic fins. They have kind of like the. I guess those are claspers, like pretty prominently, so. This is pretty, the rough-nosed leg skate. This is a really pretty skate. Look at this, I love this like rosy pattern. And with the very apparent thorns here, that is really, really gorgeous looking. It's also known as holly skate. Elazarinks are some of the most beautiful animals. They're so cool. The slime skate. Oh man, probably produces a mucus. Basking sharks produce a mucus too. Yeah, there we go. Mucus pores. So I forget why basking sharks do that. I don't know if people actually do know why they do that. Because it might be a way to help deter parasites. The skate, it might be something similar. So the yellow spotted, this is gorgeous. The yellow spotted skate, very pretty pattern. I feel like yellow is more common in rays. Sharks, it's kind of rare, but rays, I think yellow is a little bit more common. So really gorgeous animal. The soft skate. Undersized, smooth, except for usually totally prickly tail. The African pygmy skate. I'm kind of curious how small this is. Oh my gosh, that's adorable. That's very, very small. Small little guy. You can see in the guide here how tiny that is. Very cute. Aww. The leopard skate. Pretty cool pattern here. Let's see. Oh, and that's it. Okay, so those were all the rays and skates. So. Oh, Howard, I noticed a torpedo ray in a marine film from New Zealand. Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, we actually we have one here. It's the Atlantic torpedo. I think there's also the Pacific electric ray. So in North America, we do have them. But yeah, no, they will knock you out. They are no joke. So the chimeras are going to be really interesting. So if I remember correctly, I should know this. A Lazarbanks are sharks and rays, and then sharks, rays, and chimeras are cartilaginous fish, but the Lazarbanks are just the sharks and rays. Chimeras are not that. They're their own kind of thing. So they're cousins to sharks and rays, but they're very distantly removed. Very eerie-looking animals. So which one is this? This is the Cape Chimera with really beautiful, almost violet kind of fin margins. Really pretty. This individual, unfortunately, is very damaged, so the violet colors probably have faded with capture, but in life, this looks like a very pretty animal, actually. Very pretty chimera. The narrow-nosed chimera, this one's a little creepy. Huge dorsal spine. This is a really cool group of animals, though. I mean, you can kind of get a sense of shark evolution and like how over time sharks have evolved, and that ancient shark ancestors were more like chimeras or were actually chimeras, and you can kind of just see how the groups, separated over time, just with these different weird forms. But yeah, very interesting. The sicklefin chimera. Yeah, so here is the frontal tenaculum prominent in adult males. So this is the male sexual organ. This is a way to help attach the female for mating. So very weird feature that male chimeras have. Not all. I don't know if all of them have it, but at least some of them have that. We talked about that recently too, but very huge dorsal fin spine. Eerie. These are sometimes known as ghost sharks. I don't really like that term as much because it's not a true shark, but the straight-nosed rabbitfish. Cool scientific name, Rhinochimera atlantica. And again, yellow fin margins. So yellow is an interesting color here. This individual also probably faded in color on capture. As we've discussed before, if sharks, and I assume the same for rays and chimeras, if they get stressed out, they do lose their colors. I think all fish actually, too, because usually fish have an iridescence to them. But yeah, that's it. So we got a lot of cool ones. Let me go back to our dogfish, and we'll wrap up tonight's stream. But this was a really cool one, as far as I know there wasn't a lot of information on our shark specifically, but I really enjoyed reviewing the maps. There's a lot of cool marine resources out there, and they're fun to play with. And also, it's really cool to see the biodiversity of sharks in deep water habitats, especially in the Southern Ocean, which is not a very well-known or well-studied area just by nature of the extremity of the environment. So here we go, almost there. Alright, there we go. So Scymnodalatias, albicauda, the whitetail dogfish, and this will carry us home for the evening. So, chondrichthyans, yes, Howard, yes, good call. Chondrichthyans, also known as cartilaginous fish, are sharks, rays, skates, and chimeras, and then the Lazarbanks are sharks, rays, and skates. So, and I really shouldn't separate rays and skates; those are all batoids, pretty much. So, but yeah. But thank you guys so much for watching. This is a pretty chill stream as far as there's not a lot of information on the whitetail dogfish, unfortunately. But I really liked our discussion just about the ocean currents, the maps, the biodiversity of the Southern Ocean, and just the beauty of that biodiversity. There's a lot of cool sharks, rays, and skates in this part of the world. And we only saw like the South African or west coast of Africa portion, and there's just so much more to the Southern Ocean, like South America, south of Australia, south of New Zealand. So there's so cool and so much. It's so cool that there's so much to see in this habitat. So, but we're going to continue this trend with the African frilled shark, which lives in a similar environment. I think it's going to be a super cool species for next week. So stay tuned for that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Happy Thanksgiving. I think Canadian Thanksgiving is earlier, and so hope you had a good one. If I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, American Thanksgiving is this week. So either way, hope you guys are enjoying the holiday season and are having some good food. And I will see you next week for the African frilled shark. So take care, guys. See you soon, and have a good one. Cheers. Bye.